So I wanted to go about this experiment. So a few months back, I ended up having a sober month where me and a few friends, we all just wanted to just keep our minds sober, water only, keep ourselves good and all that.
Mhm.
Well, during that time, I ended up picking up tobacco, and I definitely think that there's a difference between the leaf versus those fogs, like a Mr. Fog or those vapes. Because those vapes, mine I add, I have smoked a lot of whatever in my lifetime, and my lungs have always been fine. But these vapes are terrible for your lungs. And so I just got addicted to that, and that's all I did throughout the whole month. To the point where I would just be super congested. It'd be hard to fall asleep, and I'd have to sit up. And so I started doing this working. And at first, it was just a working more of kind of going through cycles with Santa Morte, Grimoire, and the Great Spirit of the Dragonfly.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of just seeing how my life was going, and like things I wanted to shed on my life, things that were helping me be able to fly higher, things that weren't. And I was just feeling that congestion, and I got to a point where I was like, you know what, Raphael, the spiritual surgeon, it's time to get rid of the situation. So, wellness, emphasizing wellness, I grabbed a jar and I put honey in it, and then I grabbed some. Uh, I know you've heard about this, the C60 oil.
Yeah. I use that.
Yeah, it's super, super great. Just all around really awesome stuff. Everyone should look into it. And then I put on a few drops of blood on the sigil of Raphael, and I added a few more. Oh, I got some echinacea and opened that up. Just a couple of those, put it in there, and then I actually have these pills called Wellness Formula, and it's super. It's just tons of vitamins, all this. And I thought, I'm going to put this all inside of this jar, and then I'm going to empower it on my Radionics machine with the power of the sun to empower this whole transformation process I can now with Raphael, because I just, was having problems sleeping and all that. Well, I haven't went to work the past, I think 4 days now. Way better now. But I couldn't. The congestion I had with that on the box was ridiculous, to the point where I didn't. All I've wanted to do was sleep and eat healthy. I would wake up, go on a run, just so I could be able to get my lungs great. I'd take hot showers constantly, getting steamed, just doing whatever I could. And I had never experienced so much pressure on myself and all this till I did that. And it made my head hurt, made my body hurt. And all I was trying to do was, expel what was making me feel bad. And now that it's day 4, I feel way better. I don't have anything, I have a little bit of caffeine, and I just kind of keep my body cleansed and taken care of. And it's pretty disgusting what's coming up out of my lungs, but I have this healing that has occurred. But it was wellness, healing from Raphael, whatever. It was so potent, yet it didn't manifest the way I thought it was going to. I thought, with magic, way of least resistance, I'm just going to feel better. Everything's all great. Here we go. I didn't realize it was going to whoop my ass, and that's exactly what it did. But it just shows, once again, it's what is your mind's process of like limitation. What can I do with all this? And just a simple honey jar spell. And I imagine, you could use this with any entity on any workings, and whether it's honey or whatever it may be, just all those implements you'd use in a ritual or a spell, putting it in one container with that spirit's signature, putting that on the output, and then on the input, whatever it may be, if that spirit's associated with Venus, have Venus energy go to it,
Right.
Saturn. So I just thought that was very badass and fascinating, and it's just like a little radionic bomb that can really change your reality. So I just realize, whatever you're doing, especially if you have your own DNA on that output plate,
You're right.
especially be very wary and cautious, because otherwise you might be up for a long time. You could get yourself sick, even a painful operation. I couldn't imagine, getting some goofer dust on the input and the outputs yourself. I can't imagine what that would do to you.
I probably mess you up also. Exactly. Uh, but yeah, I think what you did there was very interesting. For your well-being. But then again, what was going on? You're basically detoxing yourself. You're coughing up all this whatever it was, and you were getting that out of your system. So, in a weird kind of way, that may have been your path to healing. To
Yeah.
do exactly what you were trying to do was by going through not so great things. But you said you slept a lot. Well, that's the only time the body heals is when you sleep.
Yeah.
That's when it
And,
regenerates.
and sometimes it does take taking people to where they didn't want to go to be able to actually get yourself to heal, like workaholics and such. I'd be in the gym every single day, if I had the time and able to do it. But, sometimes you got to sit down and you have to heal. And all you can do is lay there, and just breathe to have that healing process. So, yeah, it was definitely really, it was awesome. But it definitely made me get to a well-being on a different route. So it's one of those, be careful what you wish for.
Right, exactly. It happens. It
It
happens
does. It
sometimes.
does. I had another really cool experiment. I wanted to get off work early one day, so I
Uh-huh.
decided to, as soon as I woke up, didn't use anything other than just my finger on the stick plate. Just thought about me getting off early, and then I went to work. And first I was on a route, and then they're like, "No, you're just going to help out around, and we'll just use you if we need to." And by the time it was like the afternoon, I thought I was gonna for sure have to do more work. They said,
Right.
"Hey, you can you're able to get off." And I looked at the clock; it said 4:44, and I'm like, "Oh wow, okay, well that's pretty doggone divine." And I didn't even have to get myself to do anything other than just visualize the joy I'm gonna have getting off early, and boom, something as simple as that. And then I even had the thing that got me to want to do that well-being experiment was I got tired of kind of cycles I was in, and I just asked the spirit, and by just looking at the box and turning it on and just saying, Orias, can you help me, with your mind control and getting my mind into a different state of being? Turning on the box, in the next 2 days, I could feel his presence with me the whole time, and I
Mhm.
got to see the lessons and the synchronicities that he was showing me. And like even like on a passerby of some screen, it showed like, he comes as a lion. It was a lion, and it said like feeding your appetite, like something at the top of that. And I'm like, dude, you completely gave me exactly what I needed, for that. So even just like without pictures and sigils and all that, it does come back to, once again, the operator and just having your intention and statement. And I know you did that with the weather too. You just stated what you wanted it to be, and then it was able to occur. And so
Yeah.
it's just ball throwing.
Yeah, cheapo. I mean, I'm looking at the machine. I just did that with the intent, threw it right at that machine for that last experiment, for around Christmas of last year, and sure enough, I got a reaction. You know, was it exactly perfect the way I wanted it? No, but it was close enough for government work. I mean, it's like within the vicinity of the city, and I did get snow, which is what I was looking for, just by creating that thought form and projecting it toward the machine, and never physically touching the machine. And so, again, that's just one of those things. Anybody can do this. It just requires a little practice, and a little confidence in your abilities. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, working on visualization and understanding your imagination is something more than just imagination. That's a very powerful tool, and you
Hmm.
should continue sharpening it. And the fact that they try to dull that down when you're going through your adolescence is just another reason to be like, use the system, and I'm gonna better myself and keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh well. Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, it's finish your thought. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, Something that I was just kind of also thinking along those lines is when it comes to like crypto or someone wanting to build their bank account, would you, instead of trying to build up some stock fund or, making money off of the gasoline and putting your money into that stock, would you more focus on your own stuff that you have or try to do otherworld and change things in the system?
Hmm. What are you talking about, like personal,
Yeah, like
to build your own
let's
wealth?
say your crypto that you own. Like, would you
Yeah,
rather focus in on your own self and empowering those, or specific cryptos out there, and then maybe focus on this one and trying to do it right?
I just go to my portfolio. What I do is, I'll just, since you're going with crypto, I mean, if anybody knows about me, I've talked about crypto a lot because I love the technology, the way it works. Uh, the way I would use this is I kind of concentrate on my portfolio in general, like I said, and I try to buy coins that I feel have either a great track record or have potential for a great track record. Okay, like for example, Doge at one time was like I don't know, like 0.025 cents. Okay, it was like a quarter of a penny, and
Mhm.
then became a third of a penny. I bought a bunch of it around a third of a penny, and it got up as high as 30 cents. And you know, I may or may not have sold some. I'm not going to say, but at that point, it went up 120 times. For every dollar you put in it, you could have gotten back $120.
Mhm.
Okay,
Uh,
and that's just like one of those examples. But I did a little bit of study. Doge had Elon Musk. Anything that guy touches, it's like he has the Midas touch. He makes
mhm.
money in anything he does. And so I figured this guy knew something, and I was working off of his reputation, that kind of a thing. And because of that, I was able to profit from that. But again, do your own research. I'm not an investment advisor whatsoever. I know, I will not advise anybody on any of their investments. If they ask me, say, "Hey, Brad, what coins do you like in crypto?" I mean, I'm more than happy to tell you about it, but I'm not going to tell you, "Hey, you need to buy that. You need to invest in that." I'm not going to tell you that.
Mhm.
But man, I can tell you what I'm doing, and so hell, I even accept Bitcoin for machines, for purchasing machines. I'm glad I will gladly accept crypto in purchases because
Oh,
I've done that many times. Like with a South American country, it was a pain in the ass to go through PayPal or do a banking or whatever.
yeah.
And I said, hey, just send me some Bitcoin. And sure enough, the guy sent me Bitcoin, and it was, as far as I'm concerned, it's just as good as money.
Yeah, and that's definitely something like I'm personally looking at Shiva right now. Just the fact of, if it moves over a decibel, the amount of freaking reality and change. And so, I'm just thinking, is there any way I can, I mean, there's no way 100%, how do you know you're doing anything X, Y, Z, but, maybe I'll plug in my helmet and then have something that represents that coin, and then just the increase, and the input and then the output that coin. And I'm just thinking about, kind of hopping down that lane
Yeah,
too, just because, I mean, shit, $50, that's play money, Why, let's go make something happen.
yeah, exactly. And again, this is just one of those things where, I try to do like a general overview. Sort of like I look at these things like sort of like a mutual fund. In a mutual fund, you got stocks from one company, stocks from another company, or whatever. So you kind of diversify. So if one, takes a hit, and whatever, the rest of them, will be there to kind of balance things out. And
Hmm.
that's the way I look at this. And so, yes, again, if I'm doing something for myself, it's just not like for not particularly one coin, but the overall my entire portfolio is what I would try to do in order to increase its value or to make wise choices in either buying or selling crypto and that kind of thing. That's the way uh, I personally approach it.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you for that. I think that that's something, not everyone necessarily is going to be thinking about, but anyone that does think about that, and the fact that you can implement your magic ability within your radionics boxes, it's just another way to be able to not have to live under the tyranny of any other enslaving government.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, like I said, I had to make some business arrangements here to, for that very reason, to make sure that, you know, because on paper I own nothing, and everybody thinks. I'll give you an example. Everybody thinks, oh, Bill Gates is a multi-billionaire. Yeah, yeah, he controls billions and billions of dollars of assets. But I'm willing to bet that guy on paper is not even worth $100,000. I bet he doesn't own anything. It's either in a trust or it belongs to a LLC or some kind of corporation. I bet you that guy personally does not own anything. He's probably pretty much judgment proof.
Well, and there's also, if the way I kind of seen some record labels work with their artists, they give you all this money, but then they own you. And it's like, that's really not your car. And guess what? Like, you got to go to this meeting. You have to go on stage here. Mm-hmm. Oh, you think you're getting out of this? It's just another way of, blackmail, another way of control. Now you're going to make a song about this. This is what your next album's about because we're going to push your agenda. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, creative control went out the window. Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm. And be careful who you deal with. And it's like true with any business. It's true with any spirit. I mean, some of them are more devious than others, but yeah, it's true with anything. Read the fine print. Be careful what you do. Think about it. That's my advice. I mean, that's
100%. Stay as independent and sovereign as you possibly can, and that's every aspect of your life. At the end of the day, and that's something too. When people ask, "Hey, how do you sell your soul? How do you do this, that, and the other?" Personally, I don't think you can sell your soul. Second off, are you really willing to sell out that much for your desire? Like, you're just willing to say, oh, nope, here's all that. You know what I mean? Like, I even find in the industry, you'd be selling out if you are following all their rules and their protocol and you're not having any life inside of yourself and doing what you really want to do with full expression. That's selling yourself out, or not going after your dreams. That's kind of selling your soul in a sense. And when it comes to these spirits and all that, if you say that, they'll be like, then what are you doing? Like, stop. Like, come back to me when there's something to offer, Like, you're over here saying, oh, I want all these things. You have to put in the work for your goals that you want in life, And if something's worth achieving, then you're going to have to go through suffering, And not everything's going to be all up. Sometimes it's like this. But at the end of the day, the trajectory is that way as long as you don't give up. And you will get there. You'll 100% get there.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's an interesting thing. But what can I say? It just when it comes to this kind of stuff, think about it, do your own research, and make your own decisions. And I agree with you. I'm not going to trust anybody with a lot of things in my life and making life decisions for me, because they could care less about what I think. They're they may say they care, but do they truly know what makes you happy and what you're trying to accomplish? They truly know that, and if they do know that, do they really give a damn?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What's lining their pocketbooks? You're just a puppet inside of their show,
Just a cog in the machine.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm Pinocchio in this mob because I got no strings to hold me down. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the way I feel about it too. I'm the same way.
And there was I remember there's a show, and I'd love just kind of you letting people know about this horse races and that whole scenario on how you can use Radionics to help you put wages that wager down on things.
Oh, okay. All right. It's real simple. I had this woman who was out of Kentucky, and she raised race horses or show horses rather. And the thing about it, the thing that they look for when a horse is in the ring and they're jumping gates or jumping fences and they got the rider and all that stuff, the horses have to have certain behaviors in order to get a higher score. Okay, if they do certain things, certain habits or what have you, that will drop their score. And the higher the score, the better chance you have of winning. And And so what she was trying to do was use radionics to change animal behavior in these horses. And so she would give me a horse. I tried this on a couple of horses just as an experiment for her to see whether or not it would work. And like within 24 hours, this horse would either, that behavior would either greatly decrease or it would disappear altogether. And so, as a result of that, she got quite a few of those machines, and that was just for horses. And so, as we were working on this thing, and it progressed and progressed, and then I had another friend who had coyotes that were coming in on the property, and so all I did was tune a machine for the coyotes to leave, and that's exactly what they did. They left. They travel in packs, from what I understand. I mean, they're sort of a pack animal,
Yeah.
and so they all left and went to and went to another territory, or created another territory and left that place. And
Wow.
so the story, I had the wonderful idea. Said, so how can you make money off of all this? I mean, besides show horses, I mean, how could you use horses to make money? And here's the idea I'm going to throw out to everybody. And I'm not a big gambler. I've never been to a horse race in my life. I understand the general theory behind it. I've just never done it personally. All right, here's what you do. Say you got a horse race, and I guess it's either like 7 horses or 11 horses. I think it's an odd number of horses they have on each race, if memory serves. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, you do a little research on the race. You look at the horse that you like the best, okay? And with that horse, what you're going to do, you're going to take a machine, you're going to project like a picture of Secretariat, for example, winning the Derby, the Kentucky Derby, or whatever, and got that bouquet of roses around its neck, and got a trophy, and every crowd's cheering, and all this stuff, all that energy from that big win for that horse. You project it toward that horse, okay? Just that one horse, your favorite only. Project it toward that horse. Now the rest of them, here's what you're going to do, or what you should do, is you get machines, and you start projecting to them. Oh, I don't really care today. I'm more concerned about that bag of oats that's in my stall that I'm going to have after the race. Hey, I like to mount that filly that was out in the field this morning. This jockey, I could care less about him. He's a moron. I just don't really care about this race today. What you're trying to do is give them like a lackadaisical attitude, where they just don't really care about what's going on, or what have you, or they're easily distracted with other things. But that one horse, the one you're going to bet on, you throw all that energy, that winning energy, at him. And what that's going to do is that's going to give that horse that edge for that race. And the rest of them, yeah, they'll run the race, but they're not going to have their heart in it. They're not going to be there. They're just doing it as a job,
Yeah. You're basically inspiring that horse to take itself to the next level and de-inspiring the other horses to relax. That's incredible. That's That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, anybody could do this, okay? And that's what I'm saying. If there's any gamblers out there that want to, hell, we don't have to bet money. Just find a race, see a horse, do an experiment with the horse. If the horse wins, okay, let's do another 1 or 2 of them. If we start forming a pattern here where they're winning races, then let's throw a few dollars at it and see where it goes.
And there was a show you had with Joshua P. Warren, and he talked about going to the Vegas and how you want to stick more with I think it was roulette and not the machine, or was it the machines you wanted to be with? I forget which way it was.
It was games that don't have a lot of people involved. He did that roulette thing because he had a dream about a number.
Okay, that's what it was. 9-1, and then it was 1-9. Yeah.
Like a precogged number or whatever, so he decides that he wins, wins some money off of it. But really, his mindset is the more people you have involved in something, the more intense. Everybody wants to win, right? So you're fighting against that guy at the end of the table. You're fighting against his intent. That woman that's next to him, or whatever. All the people that are around that table, they have bets on a thing, whether it's a card game, what have you. They all have no intent. They're all trying to win just as bad, if not more, or just as badly, if not more, than you are at that game. he said the best thing to do is to work with electronic machines like these electronic slot machines, that kind of thing, where
Mhm.
the only thing you're really you're not going against somebody else's intent, you're going against the intent of the house, because they're the ones that create the odds for that machine. For every coin that's thrown into the machine, it gets closer and closer to a jackpot, and it's pretty much already set in the system. The algorithms as to what pays off and what doesn't pay off, when it pays, when it doesn't pay, that kind of thing. And so what you're looking for is just deal with the machines only. Don't really deal like with something that involves other people. That's the reason why lotteries are so bad. And everybody's asking, oh, I want to win the Powerball. Well, hell, I'd like to win the Powerball too. But I don't even gamble. I don't even buy lottery tickets.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't even either. Doesn't do anything for me. But the whole point of this is you have hundreds of thousands, millions of people out there that want to win just as badly as you do, who are doing things like praying to their favorite saint, or lighting a candle, or that Lucky's rabbit foot, or whatever it may be, that represents good luck to them, and in the hopes of increasing their chances of winning. And you're going against all of that, okay, to try to win a lottery. Yeah, it will. Radionics will increase your odds. I think I mentioned this before. It will increase your odds, but there's no guarantee you'll win. I mean, it may go from a billion to 1 to 1,000,000 to 1, but still it's a million to 1.
Yeah, exactly. There is a ratio to everything,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yep, let's go ahead and hit this on. We'll do our last question. Asks to me, if someone was going to want to do kind of like a baneful operation, and they were on Lawless Metaphysics, and they're kind of scrolling through everything, and they saw there was the Wishbox 2.0, and then they saw the War Machine, and so they just kind of wanted to, from what they read, understand what really is the full difference. And I know that the electronics are set up differently, but can a War Machine be used also as, like, and also can I reverse the question? Can it be used like a Radionics box, maybe to help someone or something like that?
Nah, not really. War Machine, it's set up where it scrambles energy, and it will basically, I wouldn't say infect it, but it will. I don't know who's trying to text me here, but no, what it will do is it will scramble the energies for an individual. It's a weapon. Okay, that's what it is. And it's just the internal circuitry, the way it's set up. Because if you look on the circuitry inside, everything's crisscrossed, it's overlapping, and it's there for a reason. With the say the 9 dial 2.0 Wishbox 2.0, that one is similar to what I sell like through Joshua, but I've done some things to it where it's more user friendly for magicians. That's what I designed that for. It's to make it work with the magicians, do candle work and that kind of thing. And that's what that thing's set up for. And those are the main differences. Would I use No, I would not use the War Machine to try to help somebody unless you're trying to get rid of an enemy of that person. That maybe try to provide that kind of a help. That might be useful, but as to project it toward somebody that you are trying to help as the target, no, I wouldn't do that at all. I would use the 9-dial machine.
Yeah. From its name,
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine War Machine coming in shooting flowers everywhere. I don't know if that's
exactly. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, everything I've seen and done workings with it, it's been absolutely tremendous. I mean, on my H&K right now, I do have it on the killer aspect of it. I don't know why I felt that way to do that right now, but for some reason I felt called to do that. The deity that's working with that machine, he specifically was like, "No, I want the hunter killer. I want to be the War Machine here." I'm like, "All right, dude, that's
cool. No
yeah.
problem. Let's do it. If you feel comfortable with that, let's do it." That's gonna help.
I love it.
Yeah. If it's gonna help you perform your job better, Yeah, hell,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're an underground chieftain. You know what I mean? You want to rock and roll that way, exactly.
right.
So my last question for this evening, and this is because I really want to get involved in bringing more UFO phenomenon that I get to witness, because I've seen things growing up that were pretty like, oh, holy crap, that seemed weird. But our last show you talked about how you set up at a specific time where the camera's going to be located for some paranormal activity to occur. And I have those sigils from Joshua P. Warren downloaded, and there's this ghost sigil. So I was just wondering, did you use the ghost sigil or did you do a UFO? And then how in the hell did you program into the machine exactly where you were wanting this to occur, like appear over? And so, yeah, I'd just love to get your details on that.
Oh, sure, sure. Cause I think you're referring to the Arecibo project. That's what they
Yes,
call it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's like the giant radio telescope that's down in Puerto Rico. Is where they got the name from. I think Arecibo, Puerto Rico, if memory serves, or is where this telescope is at. Uh, okay, well, to kind of give a refresher here, what it was, Josh wanted to do something like I had a little project in honor of the WOW signal, which is a some kind of anomaly that a radio telescope in Ohio picked up. I think it was either in the early or mid '70s, and what it was a frequency. It wasn't like they actually heard audio, like I actually heard a sound. What they saw was a computer representation of what that frequency was they picked up, which I think
Mhm.
was around 432 hertz. Okay, and so. Josh wanted to recreate this thing. He even got a hold of George Norrie. George Norrie, did like a little one paragraph, a little message to whoever's listening out in space. Hey, welcome, and all the stuff you're given. I think even said, hey, Josh, good luck on this thing. Let's see what happens. That kind of thing. All right. So only information I had was wow signal, and also the longitude and the latitude of where the cameras are going to be, and the day that he was going to start filming this. Okay, that's really the only three pieces of information I had. Okay, the location, the time, and something that represented what we're trying to accomplish here, which was based on the WOW signal. All right, I tuned the machine for this thing to appear on that day, and what I had, we were discussing this. I wasn't sure, did I have a thumb drive or was it a CD? I think it was a CD. I burned a CD with a frequency of I think it's like 432 on there, and that's what I had. It's just representing the WOW signal, and again, a written down statement of the longitude, latitude, and the day that this is supposed to, all this stuff's supposed to happen.
Mhm.
So again, tuned the machine for it. I took the thing that represents the WOW signal only, which is that CD. I put that on the plastic plate, the output plate. I left the other two pieces of information on the input plate. Okay, that was it. That's all I did. Nothing. There was nothing more creative or any fancier than that. I just kept it basic. And the results of that was, like within 6 or 7 hours of the experiment, they did see a UFO pop down from the clouds. He caught it on camera, and simultaneously there was a audio artifact on the feed going to Mobius, his tech guy who was in North Carolina, uh, and it turned out, I think he said it was like around 100, no, excuse me, around 430 hertz. So it was almost identical to the WOW signal, like within a couple of hertz of being the same frequency. So, well, that's interesting. I mean, how the hell this happened? We never could come up with an answer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I did. And then I had a second thing. It's like trying to capture lightning in a bottle. And Josh likes to put me in the corner on some things, and this was one of those occasions. There's some kind of, it's either a UFO convention or a paranormal convention in a place called Sault Ste. Marie, which is in northern Michigan, right near the Canadian border. And he wanted me to create a UFO activity, or where the crowd could witness a UFO at 10 o'clock at night on a certain day. I think it was in August. and Dave Schrader was there by the way. And Dave Schrader, he's, even though he's into paranormal, he's one of the most skeptical guys you'll ever meet when it comes to stuff. I mean, he'll put you through your paces when it comes to this kind of stuff. And he'll even make jokes about it, which is good humor. It's good. He's not really trying to be an ass about it, but he likes to be funny. And so so I set up a machine. All I had was, again, Sault Ste. Marie, the day, the time, which is 10 p.m. on that particular day, for the crowd to witness a UFO or UFO activity. Set the machine for it. I had something that represented the convention hall where this is taking place at, the location and the date and the time, and I think on that I think I had like a picture like a UFO or something, just your standard flying saucer or whatever, just something in my mind that represents a UFO. Mm-hmm. All right, put those three pieces of information on the copper plate, tuned it for this thing to be witnessed by many people on that day and time. After I tuned it, I took the thing that represents the UFO only. No, excuse me, no, it wasn't the UFO. It was Sault Ste. Marie. Now, this was a little bit different. It was the convention hall, because I was trying to get the crowd to witness this. There's the key mm-hmm. factor. The key factor is for the crowd to witness this thing. So I put that on the plastic plate. Yeah, memory serves. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I did. So here's what happens. They come after this thing's over with. The crowd's out in the parking lot. They're all looking up in the sky. Then you start seeing people, one by one. They start pointing and saying, "Do you see that? Do you see that? Do you see that?" And they started filming this. There was like some kind of weird light that was doing some kind of weird thing in the sky, and it wasn't a plane from the witnesses. But yeah, it was witnessed by at least 50 to 100 people. They have it on camera, on film. I think it's on YouTube somewhere, wow. Where Joshua has this. And so I consider that another successful mission. And I mean, the basics behind it is like any other operation. There's nothing special about this. There was nothing really going out of my way to make this thing any more complicated than it had to be. And it just I had certain parameters this thing had to perform or had to work with. And another thing too, I set up these machines about 2 weeks before each operation, by the way. So if anybody's asking, well, how long did it take you set this machine up before you got a reaction? Well, I already knew the time, so I already had so I wanted to set up machines for a couple of weeks to give enough time to hopefully set up everything in reality where these things would take place and manifest themselves at the proper time and location.
Mm-hmm. And that's also huge too. For me getting off early, it only took that one day, and it was just mm-hmm. that situation. But something bigger, along like the lines of I believe it would take more psychic energy to bring about a ship from another realm here, because I think that they're just realm shifters basically. Uh-huh. So you just basically have to see how much energy is that going to take, and then set it, release it, let it go. It's just like magic. At the end of the day, you dial in, you put in all your emotion, intention, and you let it go, and you let that pulsate till when it happens. And when it happens, it happens. You don't have a freaking... Let me get the pie chart out there, Johnny. Let me just 2 hour. But there are ways, using a pendulum if you're working with a spirit and asking how long. But me personally, when I do anything with a spirit, I just keep it on till I feel like it's done, or I'm like, all right, I'm done with that. At the end of the day, I just flip the switch and I'm just like, you do your thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Well, thank you so much again for hopping on here. And,
it's my pleasure.
Dude, we'll definitely keep going forward with this. And if anyone has any questions, please place them in the comments below. Check out all of the links I'm going to have down below from all the different websites that you make your machines on, as well as Charles Cosimano's books. They're free PDFs you guys can check out so you can read things and build as much intricate questions as you like. And I'm excited. I'm going to bring about a UFO, and I can't wait to tell everyone about that next time.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, and like I said, and Also, I've been collecting the shows that you and I've been doing together. I've been putting them on a new channel I have. It's called Radionic Power Station, and my very first guest there uh, honored me with her presence, and I think she's a hoot. She's really a one heck of a nice lady. Is Patty Negri, and she is really a big player when it comes to magic out in Hollywood. Everybody knows who she is. She's done ghost shows, what have you. And so, yeah, just check that out. Just look up Radionic Power Station, and that's the new channel that I'm hosting. And also for past shows, go to Mulder's Radionics. Just look up Mulder, then Radionics, and you'll find the old channel where my partner, Dr. Liz, and I were working together. And so, yeah, Dr. Liz is she's getting so far into tarot, she really hasn't had time to do a lot of these shows, and she's just, her life has just really been a topsy-turvy thing, and so it's just kind of like one of those things where we're just kind of, yeah, we're great friends and all that, but she has to do her thing, I have to do my thing, and so it's just that's where we're at right now. But yeah, that's how I decided to go this route, and it's basically the whole premise behind Radionic Power Station is the use of radionics, showing how to use radionics, and also combining magic and that kind of thing with radionics, and so that's something I wanted to do because I've worked with you, JS Garrett, and Charles Casamano, and that's the common denominator between you three guys. And I just kind of want to bring that to the table when it comes to what I'm doing here, because I find it fascinating. I look at magic as the other side of the coin when to radionics. I think they work hand in hand. It's just they're different technologies, and they have different tool sets. But at the end of the day, they're both doing this. Their mission's the same.